It's Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us. Let's get right into it as multiple media outlets across this great country are pinpointing the Baltimore Ravens as the top trade destination for Indianapolis Colts running back Jonathan Taylor. Now, you may be asking yourself, how did we get to this point of not only Jonathan Taylor putting in a trade request, but Baltimore being the team? Well, let's set the scene for you before we go over some potential trade ideas and such. Ian Rappaport, the NFL Network, tweeting out this over the last couple days. Sources, Colts star running back Jonathan Taylor has formally requested a trade after meeting with owner Jim Irsay. That was followed up by a tweet from Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, saying text from Colts owner Jim Irsay on Jonathan Taylor's trade request, as reported by Rap Sheet. We're not trading Jonathan into discussion, not now and not in October. That in reference to the trade deadline coming up later on this year. And then Jim Irsay publicly with a bizarre quote on Jonathan Taylor saying this: "If I die tonight and Jonathan Taylor is out of the league, no one's going to miss us. The league goes on. We know that. The National Football League rolls on. It doesn't matter who comes and who goes, and it's a privilege to be a part of it." Now, with the trade requests, then there was the response from the Colts wanting to put him on the non-football injury list due to a reported back injury. Taylor responded saying this: "Never had back pain, never reported back pain, not sure whose sources are, but find new ones." This is a perfect example of the dysfunction within the Indianapolis Colts organization that's been going on for years. And now that Dan Snyder has moved on, the Colts now have the worst owner in the NFL in Jim Irsay. And if you want a 180, if you want to go from the dysfunction of Indianapolis to a stable, well-oiled machine organization, the Baltimore Ravens would be a perfect fit. If that's what you're looking for, if you're Jonathan Taylor. If you want to get out of the circumstances and the just bizarreness and everything going on in Indianapolis, not to mention they have the worst roster in the league as well, I think Baltimore could be what you are looking for a nice landing spot for Jonathan Taylor on that front. Before we get to any of that, though, I want you guys to weigh in. Our pinned comment today: should the Ravens trade for Jonathan Taylor? What do you think? Tell me in the comment section. Y for yes, in for no, if the Ravens should make a move for Jonathan Taylor or not. It is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in and let me know. Y for yes, in for no. More on Jonathan Taylor, a 2020 second-round pick out of Wisconsin. He was fantastic with the Badgers in college. In 2021, he was a first-team All-Pro selection where he not only led the league in rushing touchdowns, but also rushing yards as well with a dynamic campaign that season. And a guy that is still very young, as he's, you could argue, just really getting into his prime at this point. Hasn't even finished his first contract yet. Just 1 year remaining on that rookie deal, the 4-year deal. The numbers on Jonathan Taylor, let's show you this. It wasn't just the 2021 season where he had over 1,800 yards and 5.5 yards per carry and 18 touchdowns. Last year in 11 games played, had 861 yards, 5.5 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns. 2020, he had close to 1,200 yards with 5 yards per carry and 11 touchdowns in his rookie season. Jonathan Taylor has been consistently good so far in the NFL. Now, where would he fit among the Baltimore Ravens? Well, as I have said many times on this program previously, if you ask Lamar to do everything, you are going to wear him down and get him hurt. We've seen that happen the last 2 seasons now, where he's missed 10 games in the last 2 years. The Ravens need other options in their run game. Now, J.K. Dobbins is there, but there's the holdout going on. He's not too happy. You don't have Kenyon Drake anymore. Gus Edwards, Justice Hill. You need options here. And if you could pair him and Dobbins together, then all of a sudden, I think you're feeling a lot better about your run game and you're not having to ask Lamar Jackson to do too much. If you get the J.K. Dobbins we saw at the end of 2022 and pair him up with Jonathan Taylor here, all of a sudden you have one of, if not the best running back rooms in the league as far as I'm concerned. Now, why the Baltimore Ravens? What do they have to potentially make this deal happen? Well, their cap space, they can do this. It's around $9.1 million for this year. So they can afford to pay J.K. Dobbins, or Jonathan Taylor, rather, for this year with that $9 million. Now, as far as trade assets go, of what it would take to get this trade done, they do have those trade assets available as well, with 7 draft picks in 2024, including 3 within the first 3 rounds of next year's draft. And you want to talk about trying to find stability in that run game. Here's a stat for you, folks. You have to go back to 2019 to find the last season where the Ravens had a 1,000-yard rushing running back. Now, you've had Lamar go over 1,000 yards rushing since then, but you haven't had a true running back since Mark Ingram reached that milestone. So it has been a minute. The Ravens could use the help. It's very clear just based on these statistics alone. We've heard from John Harbaugh say that they like this roster. They feel pretty good about it. But it wouldn't hurt to add another player or two to take that next step. I don't think the Ravens are done evaluating their options here, and they're not done shopping at this point. Who's a player you think the Ravens should add, whether it be trade, free agency? Chime in, give me a player that you'd like to see on this Ravens roster, and let me know in the comments section below. New merch alert here on a Ravens Rundown. Happy to report that we have brand new sideline hats on sale now. These will be hats you'll see some of your favorite Ravens coaches, players, and staff wearing on the sidelines in 2023. And there's one place you can get it. It's chatsports.com/Ravens hat. We got a few different options, and there's plenty more on the link below as well. And here's the thing. You order these hats now, and you can get them in time for football season. Great deal for all of our Ravens Rundown viewers. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and get these hats. You'll be looking great and representing your favorite team at the same time as well. One place to get them. Get yours now. Chatsports.com/Ravens hats. They get yours today. That's chatsports.com/Ravens hats. So here's the deal, I think, where the Ravens could be able to pull this off. Give up a second-round pick next year, and Jonathan Taylor is probably yours. You take on the contract. You do likely have to extend him and pay him, although not a whole lot of running backs are getting paid right now. You want to make it worth your while, right? You'd like to keep him around, not just do a one-year rental. I think a second-round pick next year gets it done if you want to bring in Jonathan Taylor. I think that's what you're looking at if you're the Baltimore Ravens. Now, we told you at the top of the show that a lot of these experts are pointing to Baltimore as the team to get this done. I want to show you what some of the insiders are saying on why the Baltimore Ravens. Let's start with the Sporting News, what they had to say about Jonathan Taylor and his fit with the Ravens. Baltimore should think about Taylor to clean up its rushing attack to support Lamar Jackson. With the new passing improvements for Jackson under Todd Monken, a 1-2 running punch like that would make the Ravens one of the most dangerous, versatile, and hard-to-defend offenses. Taylor's addition feels like gravy, but it would put the Ravens in better position to challenge the Bengals in the AFC North, and that's what it's all about, right? So, here's a little survey for the folks out there. If you think the Ravens would have the NFL's best backfield with an addition of Jonathan Taylor, go ahead and subscribe to the channel as we talk about your Baltimore Ravens each and every day with the latest happenings throughout training camp and during the regular season. This is the channel for the diehard Baltimore Ravens fan, and we're going to be bringing you some live shows and some watch parties as well. So stay tuned. Keep it locked in right here to Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. And if the Ravens make a move, like adding Jonathan Taylor, you know we're going to be all over it here on the channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. YouTube.com/RavensTV. So here's what the big lead had to say about the idea of Taylor coming to Baltimore and what he could bring to the table. He had 40 catches out of the backfield during his breakout season in 2021, so there's reason to believe he could make a positive impact with Jackson stealing some of his carries. Baltimore already has one mercenary on the team in Odell Beckham Jr. Why not make it two? This is a team that I believe is a player away, I agree with John Harbaugh, of going from good to great. And we've talked a lot about how the edge rusher position is the area of focus of some sorts of this Ravens team taking this next step. But offensively, you add in Jonathan Taylor, and here's what I'm talking about. You can still keep J.K. Dobbins around. You add him with Jonathan Taylor in that backfield, in your receiving core, which you've invested in, OBJ, say Flowers. Obviously, there's some high hopes and expectations for, and he's looked good throughout the offseason program. You got Rashad Bateman coming back, not to mention Nelson Aguilar, of all people, had a really good offseason as well, and he's expected to improve. In addition to Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, and I've told you before, I think that Charlie Kolar is going to stand out. This could be a lethal offense. Maybe, Jonathan Taylor to the fold, as good as any offense in football. So, without Jonathan Taylor, just where the offense is right now, it's obviously an improvement from what it was in 2022. What's your confidence level in the Ravens offense right now? Scale it for me in the comment section, 1 through 10, and let me know where your confidence level is in this group, where things stand right now. That's all for Ravens Rundown today. Until we see you next time, hit me up on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Show continues there at Tyler Jones Live. Talking about your Baltimore Ravens there, and I'll see you next time right here on the Ravens Rundown.